Welcome back to another episode of the For the Healthy Host podcast.
Where we talk about conscious living, self awareness, and everything in between.
I'm your host, Ree.
Sunset Tim.
Thank you so much for joining us and allowing us to be a part of your journey.
Yes, same. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good, but also I'm feeling tired because I went on a run this morning.
Yes, you did.
Like I'm literally the tiredness is coming in like literally as we speak, but feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good. What about you?
I'm feeling good. Hydration is poor. It's been pretty
Let's
poor the
keep it
last
a
couple
bug.
days.
Let's keep it a bug. You been lying to them. When you tell them you be
Hell no, I ain't been
hydrated, you
lying to
really
them.
don't be
That's hell no, you ain't
hydrated.
finna cap me out like that. No. The hydration is poor. I admit when I ain't drinking water. Like, what you mean? Like, don't do me like that.
Okay.
Um, yeah, my sleep has been as good as it's gonna get right now. As far as my daughter's waking me up at night,
Just the one,
just one right
honestly.
now.
Zuri has been amazing.
Yeah, just one right now. So I've been all right. I ain't got no complaints about anything. I'm happy to be on the podcast today. Happy to be
Me
living this
too.
life, taking in this sun, these vibes.
Facts. Agreed.
How y'all feeling from the cubes?
From wherever you are. You always say from the cubicle, but then I always say from wherever you are because I don't want nobody who not in the cubicle to feel like we not talking to them. So
We,
I
we
would be
talking to
like,
everybody from the
wherever
cubes.
you are.
We always at work. Like fact, I'm always at work. I'm working on myself. I'm working on my craft. I'm always at work.
Facts. I never even thought about it like that, but
Yeah.
so true.
So what we rapping about today, Miss?
I can't stand you.
What you?
Today we're talking about love, like in a nutshell. And I mean, love is such a broad
It is
topic, and we're gonna navigate it and talk about it
as much as you can
as much as you can.
in an
Yeah.
hour or so.
Yes.
I feel like a lifetime of conversations about love could be had.
Yeah.
But like I say, it's a broad subject, so I'm ready. I'm ready to see what we gonna get in
Me too.
on this.
It's,
So
gonna, it's really interesting. Last week when we decided to talk about this, I was really excited, and now as the time goes by, I'm like, I'm still excited, but I'm like,
what like
I don't know. It's gonna be interesting for sure.
it is. So where we starting at with love?
I think one of the first loves I think a good place to start at is like parents or your guardian because that's the first people or person that you
Attached to
attach to,
mama.
exposed to, interact with.
It's mama.
Mama.
Most times it's
Yeah.
mama. It's like that's like the first. It's the first love I know. Like was really my mom. Like outside of myself, it always goes back to mom and dad. It's the first loves
Yeah.
that we know.
I first want to ask you though before we get into like early I guess early exposure experiences with love. What is your definition of love and what does it look like for you like today, right now?
Love is a almost uncontrollable attachment or emotion to a person, place, thing, or feeling. For me, it is like something that can't be like quantified. Like it can't be necessarily calculated or why you love something so much. I believe it is just I don't know, like a stroke of magic when you fall in love with something, someone, or some place. Um, Ultimately, you just kind of know it, and sometimes it can't even be described very well to other people. But love is love when you feel it.
I love that.
Think so? So,
Yeah.
what about you? What does love mean to you?
I don't So for me, I really didn't think about like love itself for
Okay.
for like most of my life. It just wasn't something that like I've never been asked to like describe
Describe
love.
love.
What
Yeah,
does love
like
mean to
never in
you?
my life.
Yeah. So when I think about love, I think about unconditional love. Growing up, and I think I talked about this previously, I felt like a lot of the love I experienced from my mom, at least in my early childhood, was like conditional love. Like, I was kind of put on this pedestal and like expected to be perfect in a sense. So I felt like growing up, a lot of the love that I received was contingent on how much of a good girl I was, if that
Mm,
makes sense.
that make a lot of sense.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm really finding my way, like, to give unconditional love, not only to myself, but to those I love. I don't want those around me to think that I only love them if they're doing good, like in their highest moments. You know what I'm saying? When I think of real love, like real, true, unconditional love, you love me at every shape, every form, whatever emotion that I'm feeling it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think about love, unconditional love. That's the kind of love that I think about. And although I feel like I didn't receive that kind of love as a child, I'm finding my way back to giving that kind of love to myself as well.
Yeah, and unconditional love is like something we all seek, we all want. I feel like at some point in our lives, hopefully we received it at a young age, like I said, from our parents and growing
Yeah,
up. But when you don't, it can be a very difficult like thing to like be searching for, because like love is such a one in a 100,000 kind of thing. You know what I mean? It ain't something you come across every day. So let alone regular love, just like decent love, right?
yeah.
From unconditional love, which is like the mountaintop, like the top of the mountain when it comes to love. Um, far as it as when I was a kid, I think I felt unconditional love for the most part. From mom
I love that for you.
and my dad. From my mom and dad, I did. From my like you get to going external outside of the family a little bit, like cousins and like other people like that. It was kind of contingent, but it was kind of like conditional at me. But what do you expect from people that's not like in your
Absolutely.
household? I expect like there to be some type of condition with that love,
Unfortunately.
unfortunately. But I also think that all love has conditions to it. Even unconditional love has some type of condition to it. You know what I mean? Like I love you like I love air for my lungs. Like I love my daughters. Like I need like food and water. Like I love y'all. I really do. But let's just say like you just started like disrespecting me in all types of ways. Like
Okay.
the love, the unconditional love remains in the tank. Like if there's 100% in the tank, unconditional love will like is like 70% of it. But then like 30% of it is kind of like conditional. Like they treat me well. Like they show me
It's
love,
like, yeah,
is
how
respect.
you
You know what I
make how
mean?
that person makes you feel, and
Yeah,
like,
things of
and
that.
these
Like
expectations, sort of, and like, you expect me to respect you. You
yeah, you know,
expect me to, yeah.
and that brings the love all the way up to that point. But like unconditional love is that shit like you don't fuck with that person no more, but I still got love for them. Like that's unconditional. Like they ain't got to do nothing for me for the rest of their lives. Like and I'll love them this same amount forever. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
We all got like homies and friends, family like that too. Like even if the relationship's not good anymore, like based off what we have been in the past, like I'll always have a certain amount of love for you. You know what I mean?
Right.
But all I think all love, like I said, has some type of conditions to it that you have to like abide by if you want to receive that in fashion back.
I think in a sense,
In a sense, like
yes,
yes, when we get older and
yes.
we're more aware of our actions and like how they can affect other people and our emotional intelligence kind of grows, then conditions come about love. But you know, of course, like with our daughters, like my daughter could go from this honor roll student that she is to like
Straight F's.
struggling,
Yeah.
like, and I'm still gonna love her the same.
Mhm.
She can go from the best kid in class to the worst kid. I'm still gonna love her. You know what I mean? The same, exact same, because that's a different kind of love.
Mhm.
But would I be saddened that she's a like
Or
a disruption in
disappointed.
class?
Yeah.
Yes, you know what I mean, saddened and shit like that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, but I wouldn't let it affect the amount of love I'm gonna give her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
That
you know
makes sense. And
what I'm saying?
I know we're gonna talk about. I don't. I actually I do know, but I don't know. We're gonna talk about like kind of relationships, like romantic love, in a bit. But also, pure love is just loving that person for being them versus
Hmm.
like what they have
Yeah,
and
yeah,
what they have
yeah,
to offer you. Like, that's kind of unconditional love too.
yeah, yeah. I think unconditional love is like it's it's definitely something I wish for everybody to feel in their lifetime. But I think as the older you get, you do have to understand that you have to treat people a certain way to receive a certain type of love.
Yeah.
I don't think your partner is entitled to love you unconditionally if you not even giving them something back, something to love back in return, you just can't be
Yeah.
hurting them consistently and expecting some type of love from that situation.
That's why it's important to get into situations where you both love each other, like truly love each
Yeah,
other.
yeah,
Because
absolutely.
if you love somebody, you're gonna respect them. You're gonna find ways to show that love. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just gonna be there. It's not necessarily because a lot of when I say conditional love, it ain't like y'all spoke and sat down about the rules of this. Kind of like through human nature, we develop these certain things you don't do to people you love. You know
But
what I mean?
maybe we should start sitting down and talking about love,
Yeah,
like and what
yeah,
you like literally
yeah,
like.
yeah.
Cause
Maybe
sometimes
so.
I think we want to be loved in a certain way, and we put these expectations on, people, whether it be romantic relationships,
Yeah,
parents, friends. We put these expectations on people and expect them to love us in a certain way, but that's just like not naturally how they
they love.
love.
Yeah,
But they don't know that you want to be loved that way because you didn't tell them. Like, sometimes you may hint around or say,
yeah,
certain
yeah.
things,
Absolutely.
but the only way a person can love you exactly how you want to be loved is if you communicate that with them.
That is a real good point. Like, even you had to communicate that with me before. Like, certain ways you want to be loved versus certain ways I show love. It's two different things. Like you
Yeah.
said, there everybody's love language comes differently. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So you gotta understand that with each person, like we show it in much different ways, but like we always are thinking about each other.
Yeah.
But we had to adapt to the other person's language, and then I mean, it's like actually like it is like language, like a language barrier sometimes can block a relationship.
Yeah. Oh wow. Love language barrier. That's
Copyright that.
Are you gonna coin that? Yeah.
Copyright that.
Copyright that.
Copyright that shit. I made that up.
You
But yeah,
did.
love language barrier can block a relationship just because y'all don't know how to communicate how you want to be treated. Versus like, this rubs me the wrong way, even though you think this is, you know, something like you and like for instance, like you could be a person in a relationship, like I'm trying to give that person space and the whole time, like one of their love languages is like you always inviting them with them. They want to be with you, or kind of clingy is their
Yeah.
kind of like love language. But if you don't know, like you giving them space could ultimately be communicating to them that you're pushing them away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, um,
We need to sit down and have more talks about love, like when in relationships in general, like
yeah, yeah, we had more talks about everything.
for sure.
Conversation like make the world go round. Really do.
Definitely. I don't know what's up with humans and not communicating with each other
I don't know what's up with
about.
us assuming that other people know exactly what we need them to do and like when we need it or how we want it done. We definitely think that other people. I think sometimes we get so far into our main character season, we forget like we only know our lines.
Yes.
Like they don't know their lines. Like they reading from their own
Exactly.
script. Like I think we get caught up in that. You know what I mean? With this main
Yeah.
character season going on.
I think a saying that is like said all the time, but it's quite literally so true. Like, I can't read your mind.
Yeah, yeah, it is. I can't read your mind. Let me know. Like I can almost read your mind to an extent though.
You know me better than I know
Yeah, yeah,
myself.
very well.
Like, even when y'all, it's so funny. Like, he be like, yeah, let's order some food. And I'll be like,
Like, no,
well,
I'm
I'm
not
not
hungry
hungry
right
yet.
now. Like, I'm like, all right, I got it. I ordered it. And as soon as the food touches down, like it's like she was like the
Like,
gaping hole in
damn,
her
I
stomach
was
finally fucking opened up.
literally every time I be like, I literally didn't know I was
Did Oh
hungry.
my god! If you want to find the keys to keep a woman happy, feed her on time. Don't let that woman get hungry. I think a lot of times, especially women like you, like hangry will fuck a whole day up.
I am a bitch
Hangry will fuck
when
a
I'm
day up.
hungry.
Keep a woman fed. Second thing, make sure make sure you put her bonnet in a place she can find it.
Oh my
That is
God.
a good one right there. I put my baby bonnet under her pillow.
You did, but
It's
like
under
the
there right
other.
now.
Oh, it's on there right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But the other day I did lose it because like I also need you to participate in putting it somewhere I can
I
find
know.
it
I,
too.
I'm not doing my part.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
So when you take it off in
apologize.
the morning, cause it be in the kitchen, the other bathroom, it be every fucking
It
where.
be everywhere.
Like keep her bonnet safe from all things. Like keep her bonnet safe from her. Keep her bonnet safe from her. Take her to Target. Like
Take me to Target
that's
and honestly
how
get
you
her an
do it.
ice chai. I mean, I can't. Ice chais make my tummy hurt,
They
but
do, but keep track
every
of how
now
many
and
she had
then.
in a month. Cause a lot, it's crazy to me. Let me say some other things. It's common with baddies. bad stomachs. I don't know how every
Gut
baddie
issues.
gut issues for all the baddies. Second, they be blind.
Oh
It's
my god.
so many blind
Yeah,
baddies
I
of the
wear
world. Like,
contacts, but I can't see y'all. My vision is so bad.
and third thing that's common, big head girls.
Big forehead. Pretty Flacco
Yeah,
say?
what he
I
say?
love a pretty big head bitch. I can't remember what
Some
he
shit
said.
like
I
that.
just
Yeah,
heard it on
Flacco's.
TikTok the other day.
Yeah, yeah. Some them are three common things like baddies have. I don't know what y'all like. I don't know how God molded y'all that way. I thank him for it though. But Lord, y'all are funny people.
We are. Going back really quickly though on early childhood, like love. So you had both of your parents until, you know.
I was 6.
Right. And I come from a household where I a single mother household from jump. Like, you know what I'm saying? My daddy was never in my life.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I ever have talked about this on this podcast, but like my daddy was never in my life. Of course, my grandma, like I feel like in households where the dad is absent, the grandmother steps in. And y'all
Yeah.
have heard me talk about my grandma. Y'all know I love her. Like, that's my girl.
Shout out to Betty.
Shout out to Betty.
Shout out to Doris too. I love my
Shout
grandma.
out to Doris. I love Doris as well. But shout out to Betty, the best to ever do it. Like I felt love
Second
from
best.
that woman. Hold up. Who the first
Let's
best?
not even do this.
No,
It's
we're gonna
about
do this.
love. It's
We're gonna
about
do this.
love.
We're gonna do this
It's
because
about love.
who the first best? Me.
Doris.
I love Doris. Doris, I love you. You're the GOAT. But Betty,
Now that I say second best, I call my grandma second best. That's fucked up.
but Betty is the baddest to ever do it. Quote me on that. On record.
I'm not gonna disrespect Betty. Like she did her thing.
I'm not disrespecting Doris. She's just not the baddest to ever do it.
It's
She ain't the best to ever do it.
It's like LeBron versus Jordan. Like
Let's agree to disagree.
let's
then.
agree to disagree.
But you are fucking hell. Do you
Yeah,
know that?
yeah. I thought about it now.
That's
How
hilarious
you gonna tell
though.
somebody that grandma second best? That's fucked up. I'm sorry, my grandma love just got me like got me like this.
That's
I'm
what
sorry.
love can do.
That's
you know?
what conditions they make niggas look crazy.
They do. But I used to think that. Have you ever heard the saying? You can't miss something you never had.
Yeah.
And I swear I used to believe it to my core because growing up, my daddy wasn't around. I never thought about him not being there. Like I was just so used to him not being there. And as I've gotten older, I've realized like I really needed him in my life.
Yeah, for sure.
I really needed that, that male figure. I needed that love from a male in my life because although I have uncles and, stuff like that, it's not the same as a dad. It's not the same as your dad being there with you every single day. And now like I said, in my adulthood, I realized like I really needed that love. And although we text now, I still somewhere deep down inside of me, like I'm really hopeful. Like I don't just honestly speaking, I don't care for him as a person, despite what happened in the past. Like I'm not big on him as a individual. That's a whole nother story for another day. But somewhere deep inside of me, I still want that love. And I talk to you, we've had this conversation before, but as a 30-year-old woman, I'm still like, it's debatable to me if my dad loves me.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's debatable. I mean, like
it's so heavy to hear that out loud.
Yeah. I almost want to cry, but I feel like it's too early to be crying.
Early like in the day?
Yes.
What for you?
Yeah.
Nigga, I've seen you cry like from the onset, like sunset. Like I've seen you cry like
Sunrise?
Yeah, sunrise. Excuse me, sunrise. Like I've seen you cry. I don't think no time is too early for you. You already cried, like. But yeah, I see if you wanna. Not give him.
I don't want
that.
him.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
nigga,
he don't deserve.
he
all
don't
that.
deserve my tears. But
Yeah, while you was talking, I was thinking, like it came to me as you were speaking about it, like it's such a benefit in life to grow up and have like love options to choose from. Right, because I had love options to choose from in the house. 'Cause I had my mom and dad at a very young age. Because like my mom and dad have two different love styles. Like my mama is more of a my mom more of a hard body kind of like
She
person.
definitely
She
is.
She's more of a hard body, and my dad was more of a softy.
really,
He was more of a softy. He was a very chill person. He rarely like yelled. like really like raised his voice or anything like that. Uh, the whoopings usually came out of nowhere. So 'cause that it was like that was
Y'all
I'm
was
thinking
bad as
we
hell.
was bad as hell, but it's dangerous as I'm thinking about it. Like 'cause he never yelled. Like even when you got a whooping, he didn't yell. He never yelled. His voice stayed the same. So I had options. Even that, like um my grandmother stayed like the house was right in front of us where my grandma stayed. So if I wanted that love that day, I had options to choose from within.
Yeah.
I could like right there, you know what I'm saying? And like just hearing your story to see like, everybody has a love that's better for them. And in your household, like it's crazy to think you only had one love. That was your mom. So like if her love style didn't fit you, you was just kind of like you had to stick with it.
Yeah, and that's very true. Um, I found myself because of that absence from my dad. I found myself searching for love
Mm.
at a very young age. And I didn't even realize it. I didn't even know it. Like I always used to say because I saw my mom like, a single mother.
Yeah.
I always used to say I never want to get married. I don't want to get married. Like I'm by my cuz like that's what I seen.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like the examples that you have growing up they're really
Great.
important.
And I just want to say it's crazy that we had a stark contrast. Like, cause as a kid, I dreamed about being a husband. Like,
I never dreamed about being
like
nobody
you
wife.
never did, but I used to dream about being a husband as a kid.
Mhm. Um I love that for you.
I
Little
knew I was gonna look good in tux.
I
I
can't
just
stand
knew it.
you. But and you're right. But what I was gonna say, and I used to be really resentful of when I say used to be shit like a year ago
Of him.
of him, not only him, like, but also my mom because I felt like she didn't love me how I wanted to be loved. Now, maybe
Mm.
when I feel like when you're younger and you're a kid, like I mean 4 or 5, like that kind of young,
Yeah.
it's easier for adults to love you because you're a kid.
Yeah, you're
You're
very
cute, you're
small,
small. But I
very
feel like
controllable too. In other words.
yes, I feel like when I grew up and got older, like, middle school, high school, my mother and we kind of grew apart. And I didn't really feel the love from her as much. Obviously, I don't know what adult shit she was going through at that time
Mm-hmm.
of her life that affected the way that she loved me. And I used to kind of be resentful, but damn, why I always feel like I'm finna fucking cry. I get on
Cause you
my
always
own
you
nerves.
let everything out.
Okay, but I appreciate her for even just showing up for me. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And loving me the best way that she knew how. Like that's really it. That's all I gotta say. I love that lady.
And yeah, same thing to my first like source of love. My mom was like I said, my dad ended up passing when I was 6. My mom at the time, 3 kids. My mom had us young. I think
Yeah.
my mama was what 20 when she had me, and I'm the second oldest. So she was like
Right.
18 when she had my oldest brother. Then
TJ not that even he not
he
even
not
that
even that
much
much younger than me.
younger than
So
you.
I maybe say she was 23 with like 3 kids, all by the same man. They were together this entire time, and then like medical. My dad died from like a heart attack, at a very young age, or whatnot. And like just to be that young with these kids, you know what
That's
I'm
a lot,
saying?
bruh.
To be left with that, and then like the love of your life gone.
Yeah.
Um,
And I truly believe that was the love of your mama's life.
I do
Just
think.
seeing her today and like, her other relationships and stuff. And I feel like that was the love of her life.
I do like when she lost my dad. I can only like imagine like say what she was going through. To get up every day and still have these 3 boys and like to still like
Badass kids.
badass kids. One night, but for her to still love us like through that whole time period was like it just love is real. Like it's a powerful thing to pull my mom out of such a dark place. You know what I mean?
I don't give Tony enough credit.
You don't, and like I don't give my mom enough credit, so I need to give her more. But it like I said, love pulls us from strange places because to this day she still don't even talk about that era of her life. She don't
She
talk
does it
about. We don't hear much stories about my pops and nothing like that because it's rough for her to talk about it. You know what I mean? So
all these years later.
yeah, yeah. I like I said, my dad died when I was like 6. I'm 32 now. Way more of my life without him than I actually had him. But she knew him way more than I did. Um, but like for her to have to relearn life without him was crazy.
Yeah, and that made me think about the fact that love and the way you make people feel is so important because although you lost him all those years ago, I know you can still feel like
Yeah, yeah,
that
for sure.
love and like, his spirit.
I do. Like still all the time. Like the 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 thought of him is there every day. Like
Yeah.
it is like every time y'all say my name, I think about him.
Yeah, Sunset Tim. They don't
They
know
don't know
that.
that
Yeah, let them
like
know. Let them know.
they don't know Sunset Tim comes from my father's name. He grew up back home in the Sunset Projects. His name was
That's
Tim
yeah, the
too.
projects were called
Yeah, yeah, the Sunset.
Sunset.
It
They
was the
don't know
Sunset
that. Mm-mm.
Projects, and whatnot. And yeah, people referred to him like it's Tim or like Tim from Sunset. So when I got older, and my dad had um the same love affair with rap music that I have. He used to rap. He used to freestyle all the time. Like he was in love with it too. That's why I get my love for music from is him. So when I did go into rapping, that's how I developed like the name Sunset Tim. Like, and that's what it is. So every time y'all say his name, like I think about him then. You know what I mean?
I love that. And it makes me think about my relationship with my father, which is kind of pretty much non existent. But you just hearing you say, like, I got this from my dad. My dad is an artist.
He is.
He's
That's what I say.
creative.
Like,
And
yeah,
I get my
creative side from
creativity
him.
from him for sure. And I really used to hate him. I honestly used to hate him. And
Yeah.
I'm still learning to like love and like let go of the past. But like I said, it's just I was telling somebody this. I don't remember who I was telling this, but I was just like, and y'all don't judge me. When you don't I don't
I didn't know
care
what was gonna be
I
said. That's
don't
why I
care
said
for
that.
it neither. I love like if you know, you know. I love both of my parents. But when you don't too much care for them as individuals. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, they're like
Yeah, and
as people, because like I think we talked about this before. Like, you have like you start look as you get older, you kind of start looking at your parents as not only your parents, but like as people,
as
as
normal beings, as
individuals.
beings, yeah.
Yes, and had they not been my parents, like I don't know that I would ever even like rap
Yeah,
with
it's one of
them.
them things
Like,
like if this person like wasn't my family, I'd probably not
yeah.
even be friends with that person type shit. You know what I mean?
And I'm not even being mean. Like they just
No,
don't
no,
know to
no.
have. Like I need you to
Yeah,
validate
yeah.
me. Let them know I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
being
yeah. She
mean.
not being mean, anything like that. First off, her mom and dad have a toxic
So
love
toxic.
relationship that has been going on and off for what
Before I was even born,
for
probably.
better part of about 30 some odd years or whatnot. So no, it ain't her
And then they
being.
try to put me in between the
Oh
shit. That's
God,
what kills me.
like how
That's
y'all daughter counseling y'all relationship? It is crazy. I know some of y'all got the same like. I said as you get older, you realize like say your mom and dad they their own main characters too. They just weren't your parents. They had things going on in their lives too.
yeah.
That shaped them, molded them, and you just happen to be there. Like,
Yeah.
but shit is wild. We speaking about early love because them the first connections we have with love, so they
Right.
matter so much
Yeah.
about like what set up the rest of our loves. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And also like it set up our love to the point where like you go out looking for the missing love to complete your love.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Depending on how your love in the household was. Um, yeah, so we go searching for that.
Yeah. And I think another important thing is the way that we were loved, whether it be by our parents or whoever we were around, for a prominent part of our lives, it affects the way we love ourselves.
Yes.
How do you think your like I guess early childhood or like just growing up in general, your experiences with love affected the way you love yourself?
Let me think about that one. That one was deep.
Was it deep?
Yeah, well, it hit me deep for some
Yeah, you
reason.
ain't know it was coming. See, I hit you with the loo woo.
So like my pops, I got a very laid back kind of um vibe around me,
I
like
know it's
atmosphere
my
about me,
favorite
like
thing about you because I'm different. Like I'm gonna turn up
yes,
on
but
on
like
people.
I was like him. We laid back. We weren't really out front people. Sort of shy to an extent, quiet people, and whatnot. And I'm a middle child on top of all this. So at times in my family, which is I got a chaotic, big, crazy family. Like it was very easy for me to get like left to the side or out the way because
Mm,
I didn't make a lot of noise. Like the rest of my brothers or my cousins or like the rest of the family, like I didn't make a lot of noise. I was always laid back to the cut. So at times I often felt unseen. Right.
Oh,
It's all right. That's the other side of like being laid back, cool, and out the way. Like
it's
you
not
could,
all right.
it is like everything comes. I feel like everything comes with a double edge, like sword. So everything comes with a good and a bad. It's cool to be laid back and out the way, but then at times like you can't you can't like fault people if they don't think about you in certain moments because you've been so out the way. You know what I'm saying? And that was one of the things like growing up that I felt. So when I went out, searching, not necessarily searching for love, but I also wanted a love that paid attention to me.
You were unconsciously searching for love.
Yeah, yeah,
I feel
like
like
like we all
everybody is.
are. So I wanted a love that saw me like for everything I was, even though as quiet as I was, I wanted a love that that ultimately could see how big I was despite whatever space I was taking up. If that make any sense
Yeah,
to you?
yeah, yeah.
But despite how quiet I was, I wanted a love that could hear me loudly. You know what I mean? And I felt like I found that with you.
That's beautiful.
So, how do you feel like your childhood kind of shaped love for you?
I meant, but for your self love though. Like, how
Oh,
you
for
feel about yourself?
myself.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Beautiful answer though.
how did your childhood shape how you loved yourself?
Okay. Mm, good question.
It hit you deep when once you get asked, and you got to think
Yeah.
about it on it.
Um. So, like I said before, a lot of the love that I experienced from my mother, and I think she was just trying to. She was hard on me. She expected the best from me. She
Yeah.
expected perfection from me, which we know perfection doesn't exist, but she expected that from me. And I think obviously it came from a place of love. She wanted more from me. She wanted more from me.
Mm-hmm.
And she wanted to see me do amazing things in this world. But the problem with that is like she wanted me to do amazing things how she saw me doing them.
Yeah.
And I've even talked about this before. That's a long story, but from that, it just made me be really hard on myself.
Yeah.
Like very judgmental up here. To
Mm.
this day, I still deal with the judgment of myself, going on in my head. Like literally when I look in the mirror or like if I have an accomplishment, it's like, hey, but you could have did this better. And I think that's a blessing and a curse because it's like, okay, you're always trying to improve yourself, you're always trying to do better, but I often feel like what I do, no matter what I do and who I am, is never enough.
Yeah, it's also like you suffer from like good girl trauma.
Yeah.
Like, cause everything was like, if you got outside this line, you were not a good girl or whatnot. If you got outside of this, you were ultimately, um, pushed under like almost like a conditional love. Like you had to
Yeah.
stay within this box to receive this kind of praise or whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've been there for all of it. And like I said, you do be more hard on yourself than you need to be.
I really do.
You do, and hopefully I know we've rubbed off on each other,
We
like the
have.
laid backness. I've tried to rub it off on you. Yo, how do I put it? I'm trying to find a word for it. Your brashness, your boldness is like rubbed off on me to be more bold about certain things. You know what I mean? We've been good for each other.
We have for sure. But
That's all finna change today.
why? Why is that about to change?
Gonna get real toxic in this motherfucker.
You're gonna be real alone up in here. But yeah, that's a relationship. I feel like our relationship with self is always growing and evolving over, as we grow older, obviously. But that's one thing to this day still learning is to like I said in the beginning, just love myself unconditionally without judgment. I've obviously always still I said obviously a lot. 3 seconds.
Obviously, you do.
Obviously I did. But just trying to better myself without such like
Such contingent like
yeah.
rules upon it and things of that
Yeah.
nature. I feel you on that.
Yeah, and allow myself to take shape and form any way I want to.
Yeah, it's like your self love is your longest relationship with love. It'll be the one that's most current. It'll be the one that's with you forever. You know what I mean? I didn't know how far back I was on like self love until I said it one day. Like I love myself, and like I forget where I was working at. I needed a break, I need a break. I need a 15 minute. You know what I mean? Something when I said that shit, because it hit me way different when I said I love myself. It was different than receiving I love you from somebody else, because that's almost like a badge. Like I deserve, like I earned it. But like when you say I love myself, it ain't like a badge you earned. It's like something that's always been there that you just like neglected for a very long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Do you,
definitely love myself.
I love myself too. I love myself. You know who that is?
Tay that?
Duh.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you feel like the way you love yourself affects the way you love other people? Like, what do you
Mm-hmm.
think that like the relationship with yourself? How does that affect?
3,000%. I believe that because like the OG saying, like hurt people hurt people. Like when people don't feel good about themselves, they ultimately want to make other people not feel good about themselves too.
Mm-hmm.
Because it brings them level of comfort. If I'm miserable and everybody else miserable, it's all right that I'm miserable.
Yeah,
You know what
we
I mean?
miserable
Yeah,
together.
yeah. It's everybody miserable, so it's okay. Like that, I feel this type of way.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like you don't have to address it when you have that kind of mindset that I'm miserable and I want to make like the climate around everybody else miserable as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't want to address that you need to love yourself in a better fashion.
Yeah. I remember a point in my life, and it was like mostly high school. I was very judgmental. And I think that was inherited in me because my mom to this day is still very judgmental. Like, we be out sometimes and she'll say, like, oh, look at them. Like, be worried about other people
Yeah,
too
yeah.
fucking much. That's the problem.
She is
But
funny.
she is hilarious. And
Yeah, it's funny.
I don't know, I was listening to it somewhere, or I don't know, but they were basically saying like sometimes we don't know how to communicate with other people unless we're complaining. But like I think in her
Mm.
way, she didn't know how to communicate unless she was talking about other people or judging other people or gossiping.
I never heard that. That was fire.
Yeah, I can't take credit for it. I can't remember where I heard it, but
But that is true. Like you go online or wherever else, like people are always openly willing to commit to like what they hate. Oh, I hate when people do this. I hate
yes.
this. We often like easy to throw out what we hate. We very rarely like talk about what we love.
Yes, and so that brings me to I wanted to say like I was so judgmental. It was inherited, but still, like, shit, I was judgmental, like, at a space in my life. But I was also super judgmental to myself.
Hmm.
Like, I was projecting. Like, I think a lot of times how you treat, the question I asked you, pretty much, how you treat people is a reflection of how you treat yourself.
Hmm.
100%.
Yeah, yeah. Ultimately, what you water will blossom. Like good or bad, it's gonna come out of
Yeah.
you. You know what I mean? You can try to fake like I'm happy, I'm good. You can fake it as long as you like want to, but eventually it's gonna come out. Like the longer you hold it in, like the harder it's gonna hit when it comes out.
Definitely. So, a really interesting question that I have for you,
Oh God.
Mr. Sunset Tim. Do you think that you can truly love someone like if you don't have self love, if you don't have that love for yourself?
Yes, I believe 100% you can love somebody and not love yourself because ultimately we see the light in people even when we don't see it in ourselves. We see so much more in other people than we do ourselves. We see talent in other people when we ignore ours. You know what I mean? We see their smarts, their beauty, their accomplishments. We see all of that in other people much clearer than we see it in ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We rarely even see our accomplishments like as we're going through life. We're ultimately just telling ourselves we're so far behind most of the time, or we need this by this date and things of that nature. So yeah, I definitely think it's easy to see love in other people or find love in other people than it is yourself, because like ultimately I'm digging inside of me to find something, which is a lot harder because
Yeah.
I'm feeling for it then, and I'm not able to use my eyes, right? And when you're searching for something just by feeling, it takes a little longer because the paths are just like it's such an uncharted area that you have to fill out every part of it. Even if it's not a part of the path, you still gotta light that area up over there just to know what it is. Versus with somebody else, I can see the love with my own eyes. You know what I mean? So it's easier for me to process it. So yeah, I definitely think you can love other people a lot quicker than you can love yourself sometimes.
Do you think that's sustainable though?
I don't know if it's sustainable. No, you eventually gonna have to look inward and find that love for yourself. But I definitely think it's very human of us to see much more in other people than we see in ourselves.
Agreed.
So, same question to you. Do you think you can fully love someone else without loving yourself first?
I think you could, but do I think that's healthy? Do I think that that's sustainable? Absolutely not. I think that if you love someone and you don't fully love yourself, you will allow them to do things to you that you would never thought you allow someone to do to you.
I
So I
agree.
think that's where, like, it's like I feel like you'll put up with much more because you don't have that love for yourself. And sometimes if you don't have that love for yourself, you don't have that respect for yourself. You know, like the
Yeah,
list
yeah.
goes on, all these high vibrational feelings. You don't have those things for yourself, so you will allow so much from someone else.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. If we could do love in the most like um checklist according ways, yeah, I would definitely say start with self love and
Yeah.
then you can get it from other people. But I think in life in general, um we believe so much of what we see that it's easier to take in other people's love than it is to go, like I said, find it within ourselves.
I think though too, you don't have to be this super evolved person and just super in love, like, self-love queen. It doesn't have to be like that, but I think you at least need to be at a okay space
Yes.
with yourself. Um,
And feel your emotions all the way through.
mhm.
Accept who you are.
Yeah, acceptance. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Accepting who you are ultimately like build some type of comfort. And if there's things you want to tweak about yourself or things that I always tell people like you're not a type 1, you're not a 2.0 to a 3.0. You're not trying to fix yourself, but there are parts of like I think every person that we could turn the knob down just a little bit on. Like we try to control the knob as much. I'm a I'm a big productive procrastinator,
Oh
meaning
yeah.
like I procrastinate in a productive way.
Like you.
I start 9 businesses and all of them will get to like 10% done. So
Yeah.
I was very productive, but it was productive towards nothing
Yeah,
since
you got nothing done.
I'm a very productive procrastinator,
I do
and
that too.
this is part of who I am because my creativity helps me out in so many ways, but it also like it fucks me up sometimes too. But I just
Facts.
try to, and like I said, I'm not trying to fix me. I'm just trying to turn that knob down just a little bit so I can focus in on one thing at a time.
Mhm. For sure.
You do this shit too. We are bad for each other in that part.
Yeah.
Fucking bad, horrible.
Yeah, I do that 100%. Like,
Yeah, I don't know how many Instagram pages I got for businesses that y'all don't know about.
I'm telling you, cause we've had a lot,
It get ridiculous.
and it's like I mean, I know that the episode is not about that, but like, it can literally stare you. It's like, where's the focus?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can literally get nothing done. So if you're doing it, stop it.
Stop,
Stop right
stop
now.
fucking with yourself.
I'm telling
Stop
you,
fucking with that TikTok. Stop playing with the money. It's
stop playing.
$69 million. I can't remember what he was talking about. All I need is your name, your social security,
Your birthday.
that little Miss Tasha that you like. Tasha gonna do what he say.
I can't remember. That was your TikTok, but
Yeah,
it
it
is
was.
funny
It's
as
a
hell.
funny as fuck. If y'all know the TikTok I'm talking about,
Yeah, but stop doing it.
stop it.
Stop it right now. I think that we can't talk about love and not talk about like romantic type of love. Because I think in adulthood and even like in high school, we just don't be really knowing it. But like, we all ultimately are just looking for our person. We're looking for that person who sees us and understands us and feels us. And even if they don't in the beginning, like, they are at least trying. You know what I'm saying? Like,
As far as romantic loves go, we go back to like the one we saw first,
yeah,
like
like the
mom and dad, like how
mhm.
their love was like ultimately lines up, like how we accept love from other people. Like what's the conditions and terms that I'm used to in love that I've seen in love. If you grew up in a household where like it was a positive like relationship, you saw your mom and like you saw your mom and parents like get treat each other like royalty.
Mhm.
Like ultimately, like when you get out there, you gonna think that you know what I mean. A
That's
person
your
should treat
idea of
you
love.
like,
Yeah.
and then also if you grew up around um, I seen somebody online calling it a damn what's the word a telenovela. What's it like?
Telenovela.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah, telenovela.
Telenovela?
You talking about like Jane the Virgin? It was a telenovela.
Yes, like people go up around those kind of dramatic loves where the arguments are extremely loud. They yell at each other, but somehow they make up.
Hmm.
Like then you're conditioned for a toxic love growing up. That you think the back and forth, the fighting and this and going through pain or yelling is a like positive expression in love.
I agree, but I do want to say just because the examples of love that you've seen may have been toxic or um whatever the case may be, that doesn't automatically mean
You
that
are
you're
attracted.
accustomed to or attracted to that type of love. A lot of times it is
Yeah, a
like
lot of times.
often.
I guess I worded that wrong. Let me say this too, like, and I thought about this last night. It was not on this subject, but like, all bad examples are good examples. So
Yeah,
like, even if you grow up in around a toxic bad relationship, that's a very good example of what not to be too. So
yeah,
like, even if you grew up, like I said, not seeing a positive one, it still was a good example of what not to
yeah,
do.
yeah. I personally didn't have any good representation of love at all. Now my grandpa passed away when I was 8, so I don't have any
Yeah, yeah.
memory like of that at all. But I don't have any positive examples other than what I saw on TV. Like I don't even
Yeah, yeah. TV was the shit for sure.
for sure.
With the
But
Huxtables and
the Huxtables
what was the
and
Steve Urkel show? What was it called?
Family Matters.
Family Matters. I never watched it though.
Honestly, though, and I'm thinking back to those shows, and I don't.
Remember relating it to that?
Yeah, no, not at all. It was just funny.
It was just funny to you.
Yeah,
Now,
but
my examples of love were a little more positive. Like my mom and dad had good chemistry. Like they were like yin and yang. My mom, like I said, more high headed. My dad was like calm, uh, had a cool temp to him at all times. So like, and they were funny. Like when they were around each other, I knew like just looking at them interact. Like that's what love is. Like they like what kind of like I don't say perfect for each other, but like they fit each other very well. Like my dad was a big basketball fan. Like he loved ball. My mom played ball in high school. Like they connected in that fashion. Like music wise, my mom wanted to sing. Like my dad wanted to rap.
she ain't want to sing. Now I ain't know that.
Hold on now, don't do Tony.
I ain't know that. I'm just saying. I
Not
didn't
like no,
know.
my brothers don't even know that. I think I may be the only person outside my dad that knew. Like my mom at one point in time, like wanted to sing. Like that was the thing she wanted to do. I said dad wanted to rap. They fit each other so well. My mom was she's more of an outgoing person. If she in a spot, you gonna know she in a spot.
Yeah, for sure.
My dad, like me, he put them. My dad is like famous or notorious, however you want to look at it, for these black shades. Like I'm talking, my dad wore them all the fucking time. I'm
Even
talking
at
about
nighttime.
at
Like,
night he had them
sir,
on. I
how
remember
you
at the
sing?
breakfast table, this nigga would have like the black lokes on, like Ray Bans, like back in the
Uh-huh.
day. He would have them on at the breakfast table with a fucking Oakland Raiders hat. Like
He
I
really
don't.
thought he was from
He
California.
really did. He had a Jerry curl too back then. He really thought it was easy. I don't know what he had going on, but like my dad was notorious for that cap and them shades. He was a cool ass laid back dude, and like I said, him and my mom, they like went hand in hand. So I think that's like when I was younger, like I told you, I had dreams of being a husband.
That's
Like
why.
I wanted to be something like I wanted to have what they kind of had.
Yeah.
You know what I
And
mean?
see, I didn't never experience that. I didn't experience, people had, like you said, that what you said that stuck out to me was like they had chemistry.
They did.
That's not something that I really ever witnessed from like, what I can remember anyway.
Yeah.
Like I never seen that. I never experienced any positive like relationships. Even like to this day right now, I can count on my hand the people I know with, positive
relationship.
relationships.
Yeah.
And of course we're on the outside looking in, but
It seems so rare, like it just seems so rare to like for it to be a truly positive relationship.
that's such a shame.
It is, but I know they out there. I just know they don't get as much love as negative, toxic relationships, and that's just like how media works. Things that are toxic and negative usually get way more attention
Yeah,
than shit that's
for
positive.
sure, for
Like
sure.
That's just how it is. A video of some folks from your hometown fighting gonna get a lot more views than people from your hometown playing in the garden for the community. Like
Yeah.
it's just how shit goes.
Yeah. But I'm saying like even outside of media, I mean like my personal life. I don't know anybody.
But even then, is what I mean. Like when
Oh,
somebody's
you just like
relationship
relating.
positively going, they usually rarely
Oh,
they,
talked about.
they
That's
really talk. They
true.
really talk about it. Like yeah, everything's like people don't never call you and be like, yeah, I just wanted to tell you everything's great with me and Chad. Like it's so amazing. Chad's a beautiful spirit. It's usually let me tell you about this nigga Chad. What he done did
Yes.
today. Like that's when people call you when shit is
Yes.
toxic. When shit is positive, people rarely speak
That
about it.
is
And they go
so
back to
true.
like we just spoke about today. Like people love to share what like, oh I hate this. People always like hide and hover what they love because ultimately they're trying to protect it. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? And that can go to like, are you looking for love or are you looking for security?
Mhm.
Like a lot of folks can go back to that. Are you we'll disguise a lot of shit. Like I'm looking for love, and ultimately you just looking for somewhere safe to be, like
Yeah.
emotionally, physically, spiritually. You just looking for somewhere safe to be. You're not actually looking for love. And I think like I said that get intertwined with this person thinking it's love, and this person just thinking this is a comfortable spot for me to rest.
But I mean, also a safe space is love, though.
It can be.
It can be love, but see, that makes me think about like, okay, so we're adults, but we were together at a very young age. But I feel like, obviously, I'm not dating. I'm not looking for love because I found it. But I find that, and like, I might get hate for this, but a lot of women, a lot of men have these checklist type of love.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
he got to make six figures.
Figures,
He got to
yeah.
be 6'7".
And
He
have his
got
own
to.
house.
He gotta have his own house. He gotta have a Bugatti. Like
Yeah,
all
because
these
almost
things.
went to jail for being a crime lord, but he stopped because he fell in love with me. You know what I mean? That made him
Y'all.
stop.
And
Like,
that made me think about our audio book that we read.
yes.
Y'all, it is so fucking good.
Get you a ratchet audio book if y'all ain't
It's
got
so
one. A good one is
good.
like in true thug fashion. That's what we reading or
It's so
listening to right
good.
now. Shit's so good.
It had me like,
Yeah, I be too fucking hyped listening to this audible. It's very good.
it's so good. Audible sponsor us.
Oh my mama, like where y'all at?
Where you
Where
at?
that bag at? But yeah, going back to that, like yeah, there are a lot of people with checklist loves. Like a dude's like she gotta be able to cook, she gotta be fit, she gotta be this, that, and the third, and like a lot of times that is where it comes from. Like you're not looking for love. If you got a checklist, in my opinion, you're not looking for love then.
Right.
Especially when my bad, I
You
mean
go
to
ahead.
cut
I'll
you off.
cut you off, sweetheart.
Especially when your checklist got shit to do with money, success,
Physical
physical,
appearance.
like shit like that. Like, now I'm gonna take physical appearance out. Whoever you looking for, they gotta look good to you though.
Yeah, well, that's
They
true. You
gotta
have
look
to be
that.
attracted to them.
Yeah, yeah, but them. But they ain't
Yeah.
gotta be. But the girl
Yeah.
don't gotta be like a fucking Instagram model, and the dude don't gotta be walking on New
Now
York
don't get
fashion
like
runway. Who you talking about?
DJ Envy. Now I know my girl not the baddest. Don't
That
start
nigga-
getting on it. Don't start talking
No,
like that.
hell no. Like she gotta look good. Like, but like you said, like, but there are some people like that want the like they can't settle unless it's Michael B. Jordan type shit.
Yeah. It's like I get it. I get it. We're adults, we're grown, and
You
we
want
want
security.
somebody who is competent. You know what I'm saying?
Competent?
Competent.
Is that the
Like
right word?
yes, that's the right word.
Okay, so I'm just used to like people saying incompetent.
yeah, incompetent.
I've never actually heard the actual opposite in real
Yeah, you
life.
want someone who is competent, who can what's the word I'm looking for?
Provide what you need.
Reflect, like be a reflection of
definitely,
you,
okay.
like be a good reflection of you, and yeah, like compliment you. That's the word I'm looking
Compliment
for.
you,
Someone who
okay.
can compliment you. But that's like my point I'm getting to. That's when we're looking for security
and not love.
right? And
Two different
that's a
lists.
whole nother story though.
Them two
That's a whole
different
nother podcast.
like them two different lists, because like there are people that could like be more secure for you, but they might never love you in that same fashion. Like,
and
that-
it depends on, I guess it goes back to what your priority is. Is security more
Yeah,
important than
'cause,
love to
like-
you? Then go for it. You
cause,
know.
cause like with me, like how I'm trying to put this. Like I do feel like everybody kind of has a checklist, but my checklist, like I ain't gonna say it's pure, but like my checklist don't involve like her knowing how to cook or clean
Cause
or
I'm not cleaning. I
yeah,
will though,
yeah, you but I do the
but you do the
cleaning.
cleaning.
Like my checklist don't involve certain things like that. My checklist is a lot more simple. A beautiful person, inside and out. Like that's off the checklist. Somebody I can trust. We can build loyalty with. Like we have some type of chemistry. These things matter to me more than money
Right.
because I've always felt like I can go get some money
I can
now.
get some money
I can go
regardless.
get some money. Like I could go get all that shit that like they be having on the checklist, like far as the income and like how they all that shit. I can secure myself, but I know for sure, and I've known. Kudos to myself. As a kid, I even known that you can't buy certain shit. Like you can't buy loyalty, you can't buy trust, you can't buy love. It's certain things that just money can't get for you. And my checklist consisted of things that like money can't buy.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Like as much as they building bitches out here, like I like my beauty as I see it.
That's
Raw.
good to hear. That's good to hear. I feel like with I get you when you was like you had a checklist. Like I didn't have like I had
Yeah,
things that
I
I
wasn't.
looked for,
Yeah, it
and
wasn't an active
it
checklist.
was like it was a mental checklist. I had things that I looked for, like you make me laugh so fucking hard.
Yeah,
You
funny.
always
I forgot that
had
off my list.
like
Yes,
goofy, funny,
like the chemistry too. Like I
chemistry,
feel like chemistry holds a lot
connection.
of relationships back. Like, oh, he was a good man or she was a good woman, but just like you didn't connect,
Yeah.
didn't have that chemistry. Chemistry
Yeah.
matters a lot.
Yeah, so it just goes back to like I said before, what you value. If you value security over pure, real love, kudos to you, baby.
Yeah, you find somebody else who wants security too, and y'all just secure each other. Like that's cool, but like
Exactly. But I find that with love, you'll get
security will come.
security. It'll come, baby. It will come. It'll come in a safe space. That you are when you find somebody who loves you and who sees you, that's a safe space.
Yeah,
You've created a safe space together.
and I think people be trying to shortcut love too. Like just
What you
get some,
mean?
like just trying to shortcut it with the checklist, kind of like they don't want to build a love. They want them like they want it already secured and everything. They want the house furnished.
I
Basically, you know what I'm saying? They want the house furnished when they go in there. But love has to be built.
Yeah,
Like,
agreed. I think too sometimes we look for the love that looks good on paper.
yeah.
Like, he got this, he got what movie were we watching? God, I cannot remember. We was watching a movie and it was like, he had this and I had this. Like that the idea of them looked so good together, but like it wasn't
It wasn't
there.
there. That's the chemistry, like the connection. It has
Yeah.
to be there. Yeah, that's just like people not being superficial. A superficial love ain't gonna get you
Superficial.
nowhere really.
Yeah. For
Like
sure.
external loves really ain't gonna get you. And external loves can be a physical person. Like
Mm-hmm.
searching for the finest or the baddest, like that ain't gonna find you love at all times. You know what I mean? But definitely cuff something bad though.
You definitely should.
I definitely did.
You did, and I did too.
You know what I'm saying? Cuff something bad. I ain't saying don't do that. I'm just saying don't let that be the sole basis because that'll fuck you up.
Yeah. It reminded me of the movie Just Right. Remember I loved that movie
You
with
fucking
Common and
love
Queen
that
Latifah?
dumbass movie.
Yeah, so like that just remind me of that because
He had Paula Patton. It was like the quote unquote bad one.
yeah. But after he had, been with Queen Latifah and I forgot her character name, but he realized like, damn, that wasn't really like
That wasn't what it
love.
was. I
Like she
thought it
wasn't
was.
interested in me. She obviously just want me for like, what I have. She
Yeah.
don't love me. And I think
She looked good on paper.
exactly. And I think if you end up in a relationship where, the idea of y'all like just sounding good or look good, you will find yourself unfulfilled in that relationship. So love always wins. Like,
Yeah, love gonna win regardless. How long it take, love will let you know.
for sure.
So yeah, just rounding all this out, like love is a beautiful thing, but I also want to fair warn you that, like we spoke about last episode, if y'all listen to that, love and happiness
Mm-hmm.
have dark sides to them. What what we are willing to do for love can get extremely ugly at times.
What you won't do,
Yes, what the song is that?
do for love.
Tupac. Yes,
It's,
but
it's not, but go ahead.
oh, you talking about Bobby Caldwell, but Pac sampled that in his shit
Yeah.
though, so we both was right. Don't do me. I fuck with rest in peace, Bobby though.
It's actually Sanaa. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Sanaa.
Oh, Bobby sampled it.
Well, no, she sampled it from him. Like my day and age. That's who I hear singing.
Oh, okay, but
Do for love.
rest in peace to
Bobby Caldwell.
yes, rest in peace, them. But back to what I was saying, um, love can be dangerous. Happiness can be dangerous. What we do for those things, um, ultimately can damage us and damage other people. When you got somebody so high up on a pedestal and you willing to do so much for them, you not noticing that they like cutting you and damaging you this entire time, like because the love is so strong for them, you're willing to break yourself just to see them happy.
Yeah.
Love can get very dangerous. So be careful with the. And that's why I like to say some loves need to have some type of condition to it, so you don't end up like hurting yourself so bad that because you're trying to love this person so much, and they just don't have any love in them for themselves to be even giving other people.
I think too often sometimes, especially in relationships, love can be mistaken for other things.
Yeah.
We think I mean, I guess it's we can sometimes I think we can look how am I trying to say this? I think when we come to a space where love got us doing crazy ass shit, hurting people, stepping on people, it's because we ultimately want that love. We're giving that love to somebody else
You want to receive it back.
because we want it back so badly. And that's where self-love goes back into. And I know we talk about self-love so much, and it's easier said than done in a sense. But you really got to dig deep and find that love in yourself so you won't be out here looking crazy as fuck.
Yes, guys. So people will. There are some people out here like that will drive you through a wall, see you going through a wall for them, and it won't phase them any.
Yeah.
So it's like be careful with who you choose to like let in your gates. You know what I mean? Because like once they in, I always feel like once you in like somebody in your gates of love, they usually stay there forever, regardless if the relationship falls off, y'all don't be together no more, whatever it might be. Usually when you love somebody, it's for life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So watch who you put inside your gates.
Yeah, although that love may take different shapes and forms at certain, like you
Yeah,
said, if
yeah,
the
at a certain
relationship
point.
ends, it may look different, but ultimately, like you'll always have love for this person.
Yeah, yeah. And that's platonic, but not like it's just
Platonic or
how it
romantic,
works.
yeah. However,
Remember that love has dark sides. We've seen people throughout history do things, crazy things for love. Love has been in the room for a lot of crazy shit we've seen in life.
yeah,
You know what I mean? I want to reiterate that a ridiculous amount of bad things in history have happened, and we not known that like love is in the room.
yeah. Love is such a complex thing, and although we're talking about it, I wouldn't dare sit here and say that I'll have all that shit figured out
No.
because I don't. But it's super complex, and every day I'm trying to understand it. Understanding within myself, understanding with how I show it to the people I love and to myself. But yeah, it's complex and it's crazy for sure.
It is. So, with that being said,
Remember to always love yourself, even if you haven't, made it to that space yet. Just keep trying and just keep showing up for yourself and figuring out different ways that you need to be loved and ultimately show that love to yourself, and you know, can give that love to those around you.
yes, kiss your broken lines. You and your faults are beautiful.
Yes, but we love y'all. We appreciate y'all for being here with us today. Sending you so much love, so much peace, so much abundance, and everything you need in this moment. You gonna say peace? Peace.
You usually say bye.
Oh, I do say bye.
Peace.
I was waiting on it.